All right, let's start with this one. A lot of you have made a mistake in the first blank. I don't know why. Almost all of you. I think only if you, Osama got that one right. Ajay got that one right. There was one more for the first blank I'm talking about. Why you put behavior? Okay, let's start. Now, look at that. First of all, he's saying that activist groups, at least those which were found in the West, such as Amnesty. So activist group are groups which are working for the betterment of the people. So human activist or human right, like for example, Amnesty International, UNICEF, UNHCR, these kind of groups which work for the people, exposing the dash of torture victims and political prisoners. They have managed to put pressure on unjust regimes and with their non-negligible clout have infrequently managed to dash leaders. Just try to understand the tone of the passage, like what he wants to say, right? He's saying activist groups were found in West, such as Amnesty, exposing the dash of torture victims and political prisoners. Now, expose is the word that we use with something which we're talking about something negative. For example, I'm going to expose your lie. If you watch some news or something, they will always say, today in this story, we are going to expose that how criminal activities were working or how that group was operating or something like that. Why would you expose the behavior of torture victims? They are already tortured. What is there to expose in them? That doesn't make any sense. Okay. Majority of you put behaviors over there. Behavior according to the context won't be right. So try to understand the story, what he wants to say. Amnesty is the name of an organization. So you should have heard, like, it's very famous in Australia as well, Amnesty International. So it's an international organization working for the betterment of human beings. All right. A is capital. So that means that it's a proper noun. All right. So it's a name of an organization. Exposing the dash of torture victims and political prisoners. So something related to their dilemma. It doesn't make sense because it can't be a dilemma. It's either condition or plight. Both of these words are making absolutely perfect sense. Okay. But I can't put behavior because there is nothing to expose in the behavior. Behavior could be positive, behavior could be negative, but these are already like torture victims and political prisoners. So why would I expose their behavior? What will I get it? That won't be right. Condition, plight. The right answer here will be plight. Both of these have the exact same meaning. Plight, if you Google it, I think they will also give you the meaning of condition. But plight is used for something which is very negative or very like God forsaken condition or very worst condition. So for example, if there is someone who is living under the poverty, we will say the report was working on the plight of these people, meaning condition of these people who are living in that area. Okay. So the right answer here will be plight. Now, what I want you to do is don't just put the answers for the sake of it. Always try to understand the main story by which it's happening. Okay. What most of you have done, you might have read like exposing the dash, exposing the behavior or behavior of torture victims. Don't do that. Okay. Try to understand the main story of it, what he wants to say. All right. Now, even if you don't know the meaning of the word, then I'm fine. Then let's suppose you don't know the meaning of plight and you're not going to put that. Then my second option would have been condition. Okay. So if you are guessing, you can't guess behavior. Someone is saying that sometimes you don't know the meaning of word. That's absolutely fine. But then the right answer should be condition. Right? Condition of torture victims, like their condition in which they're living in, or what are the condition of these political prisoners. Behavior still won't be right. Okay. But remember this word, write it down, that plight will be used for something which is happening, which is there to describe the condition of those people who are living in the very worst conditions. Okay. So that is where we use the word plight. Okay. Then he's saying that they have managed to put pressure on unjust regimes. So basically these organizations or these Amnesty International or other organizations, they are putting pressure on unjust regimes. Unjust regimes means people who are not providing justice to their people. With their non-negligible clout, have infrequently managed to dash leader into improving conditions. Okay. Now, infrequently manage to dash leaders into improving conditions. Something like they have to force people or force or like leaders to improve condition, right? That's what he wants to say. Let's say I'm running an organization and there is something bad which is happening in the country. So I will just force them to improve the condition of these countries. So some word related to that should be there in the answers, right? Look at the option: pride, humiliate, shame, and disregard. Now, very tricky options. I guess this was the only blank which was a little bit tricky one. After two, we have to use first form of verb. All of these are given in the first form, so that doesn't help me a lot. So that comes down to solely on the basis of the context. With their non-negligible clout, have infrequently managed to dash leaders into improving condition. Like they could not do it. To pride leaders, that won't be right. Like it's not something to be proud of. Or disregard leaders. You can't disregard any leader over here. It's either humiliate leaders or shame leaders. The right answer here will be shame leaders. Like to make them ashamed, to make sure that they are improving their conditions. Okay. To shame leader into doing something, that's also like a collocation. So that's a very it's not used a lot, but it is a collocation that we use. Shaming someone to do something. Okay, like for example, to make them ashamed, or if I can speak in Hindi very quickly, it means that किसी को शर्मिंदा करना, like to make them ashamed. All right, in English I will say to make them ashamed. So to shame leaders into improving condition, like telling them again and again and again that okay, you're not doing good, not doing good, not doing good, that the leader feel ashamed, and then they start improving the condition of the people. So that's what he wanted to say for this particular plan. Disregard and pride won't be there. To most of you put humiliate. Humiliate is academic, you can say, but it won't. Humiliate means to make humor of or to make fun of someone. Okay, humiliate leaders into improving condition. You're not humiliating them. Okay, you are shaming them. Okay, like you want to be absolutely sure, and you want to make them ashamed that okay, that is something which you can't do. You're not making fun of them. Okay, because it's a very serious condition which he is talking about, that he is talking about the tortured victims and he is talking about the political prisoners. All right, so that is why the right answer will be shame. Although you can say humiliate is more academic, but according to the sense it won't go there because the meaning is a little bit different. So always remember one thing, you all have seen that rule in your strategy class, that we say use the more academic word, but that's only the case when the meanings are exactly similar to each other and grammatically both the words are fine. So when you have two words making absolutely perfect sense grammatically and absolutely making perfect sense on the basis of the context, then only you will select the academic word. Here the meaning is different of those words. Okay, so that is why it can't be humiliate. All right, next one. Much less. So now you understand the story, what is happening up till now, right? Much less emphasis has been placed on the second component, mean that socioeconomic rights such as housing, food, healthcare, and fair wages have gone dash. Have gone what? After have, we have to put third form of verb. Again, everything is third form, so it doesn't help me again. Have gone risen doesn't make sense. He's already saying gone. So it's either gone up or something like gone. What? Gone enforced? No. Gone risen doesn't make sense. You can't abandon the price. So the right answer will be gone unchecked. Like no one is checking the prices of these things. Housing, food, healthcare, fair wages, they have gone unchecked. Like there is no one who is taking care of these things and everyone is just taking them for granted. Clear? This is set to change. Now you want to change this. However, as human rights group, which is Amnesty International, seek to dash governments to give equal opportunity to the right to vote as the right to home and regular meals. So basically they seek to dash. They want to force government to give equal attention to the right to vote, right to home, and to regular meals. So what will be the answer? We have discussed that many times that with to, we will always put, which form of verb do we put after to? Can anyone send it to me in the chat? You should know that. After to, which form of verb? First form of verb, not third. Okay, I didn't say we will put third form of verb. It's always first or ing form. Okay, never ever ed, never ever s or es form. I can put ing form. I can also put first form of verb. 90 to 95% of the time we will put first form. Here, informed is third form of verb. I will eliminate that. Influenced is third form of verb. I'll eliminate that. Dissuade and persuade. So persuade means to force. So I will just put persuade over here. Okay. Clear? So to change all these conditions, human rights groups seek to persuade governments to give equal rights to give equal attention to right to vote as to right to home and regular meals. International and human rights, that's another name of an organization, watch have unsurprisingly dash on civil rights. Have unsurprisingly what? Checked on, focused on, inattentive on doesn't make sense because with have I have to put third form of verb. I can't put inattentive. It's either focused on, checked on, based on. Look at that. International and Human Rights Watch have unsurprisingly dash on civil rights. You can't say have based on civil rights. What are you basing on? What is he talking about? I don't know. Right? This is the name of a commission or name of an organization. If I say based on, it doesn't make sense. The right answer will be focused on. Exactly, Kritika, you're right. It has to be focused on. Like that is another organization which he was talking about, which have surprisingly focused on the civil rights. Clear? I'm assuming now it will be much clearer than before when you were solving it. Many students, they say to me, like when you explain now it's much clearer, but then when we were doing it, it was hard. Okay, so that's the case in most of these blanks. All right. Clear? So any questions in this one? In the third one, someone said explain because, okay, in the third blank, have gone dash. All right, so have gone dash. You can't say have gone risen or have gone abandoned. So that's the only word which is making sense, which is unchecked, like no one is checking the prices. There is no rule which can control the prices of housing, food, healthcare, and fair wages, and they have gone unchecked. So it's like a no rule of law is there. Everyone is doing whatever they want. Okay, so that is what the condition which they want to improve. All good. Lot of twos are out of 5. I think it's the effect of the weekend. When you are attending the classes before the weekend, you are all like 3 4 3 4, but now again it's 1 and now we have to go all the way up. Is it the case? Hopefully not. Otherwise, did you guys practice on the weekend or not? Just have fun. I think most of you had a lot of fun on weekend. That's why it's happening. 1 2 2 3. I think it wasn't that hard. I think one blank only. The second one was a bit tough. Other than that, it should have been correct. Okay, so you should have gotten at least 3 to 4 right. Okay, no practice. See, that's the case. All right, you have to practice for your PTE. Just try to get this done. Practice a lot, Newton. That's why you got 4. Good job. Try to get it done. Okay, don't take breaks. Even if you do spend like 1 hour on the daily basis, that would be fine. 1 to 2 hours will be more than enough. 2 hours will be more than enough. But keep in touch, because if you lose it, then you have to start all over again. And trust me, it's not a very fun activity to do. Okay. Yeah, after 2, we will use first form of verb or ing form of verb. Okay, majority of the times we will use first form of verb. Very rarely we might put ing form. Okay, depending on the text. But we will never put s or es form. We will never put ed or ing form. Ed form after 2. Okay. All right. Any questions? Thanks, Sajji. Okay, all good. Any doubts in this one? So now I'm expecting better answers in this particular blank. Okay, it's a bit long one, but it's not hard. Don't worry about it. Try to focus on the content, understand the story, and be confident in your choices. Now you have practiced a lot, so be confident when you're solving these questions. Don't be scared even if you don't know the difficult words. All right. Let's do this one, and then we are going to discuss that in detail. And still make sure that all of you send your answers in the chat. I got still less answers because you are all 36 of you in the class right now. Okay, so just make sure that you send it in the chat. All right, 2.5 minutes, then we will discuss. Okay, guys, this is actually an easy one. Okay, don't worry about the length of text. It is an easy one. Literally all the rules that we have discussed will be used, but you have to think a little bit hard. Okay, so just make sure that you do that. But if you do, I can guarantee you your answers will be correct. All right. So I'm expecting at least 4 to 5 in these ones. All right. Just spend your time and send it in the chat. All right. Lot of good answers in this one. Tell me, those of you who put B in the first blank, why did you guys put B over here? Why did you put redistributing? Can you just quickly send it to me in the chat? Those of you who have put, okay, when you said ing form, all right. Anyone else? Newton, why did you put B or because of tackling? Very good, excellent. We have done this rule so many times, all right, and trust me, that rule works a lot. All right, now look at the first blank. When most people think of social justice, they think solely in terms of the government dash wealth rather than let me just get my pen. Okay, rather than individuals and churches tackling the deeper issues associated with poverty. Okay, we have done this rule. Okay, rule of parallelism. Now, if you look at the option redistributed, redistributing, redistribute, distribute, all of these are making sense. And there is no like helping verb over here. Like there is no ism or there is no was, were, has, have, had. Nothing is giving me any clue. It could be anything. Like when I will solve it, I will feel much more confused. So I had to read after the blank. When I saw the word tackling, I will be absolutely sure that, okay, if there is ing form over there, there has to be an ing form over there. Okay, so I will have to go with the word redistributing. That one will be the right answer. All right. So if there is no tackling, then we need to go with the first form. Yes, then it could be anything. Okay, then we have to look at the text in which he is talking about. All right. Why not D? Because government distribute wealth won't be right, because again, look at say, rather than individuals and churches dash the deeper issues, tackling the deeper issues. So if you are using tackling the deeper issues over here, there has to be an ing form over there as well. Okay. If it wasn't tackling, then it would have been D, or whatever the verb form was there, then I would have put that one as well. Okay. So the first one will be tackling. Okay. Use this rule of parallelism. Still, some of you put the first like option A. A doesn't make any sense in this one. Like, I don't know why would you put A, because the whole thing is in present tense. There is no sense of putting ed form over there. All right. So be very careful about it. Majority of you got it right. I think 90% of you got it right, which is good. I just wanted to check the reason, and that's a good thing to know that all of you knew the reason. Okay, good job. All right, next one. This one is another easy one. All right, but a program being dashed by the Richard and Helen DeVos Center. Being dashed by, that means that my sentence is in the active or passive. What is the sentence in? Is it the active voice or is it in the passive voice? It's in the passive voice. With passive voice, which form of verb do we use? We use verb plus which form? Verb plus ed or third form. Excellent. Okay. Look at the option. One is introducing. I can't put ing form. I can't put handle. I can't put s or es form. Very easily, my mind will go towards piloted, which will be the right answer over here. Okay. So that is how these rules will be used. And trust me, same rules will be used in the real exam as well. Okay. It's all about, you will get very rarely some difficult questions like the first one, maybe, which are based too much on the context, but majority of the time it will be a mixture of all these three. Okay. So here, just because of this, I have seen that, okay, the sentence is given in the passive voice. I will just go with ed form. Okay. Otherwise, contextually, all of these words were making sense. All right. Clear? Then a lot of people today, comma, dash in the rising generation are interested in social justice. Say Ryan Mesmore. Dash in the rising generation. So basically want to say like even today or something like that. Okay. Especially, very, particular, promptly. A lot of people, if it was particularly in the rising generation, then I might have put that. Okay. Promptly means something instant. You can't say promptly in the rising generation. Okay. Very in the rising generation doesn't make sense. The right answer will be especially. So a lot of people today, comma he is putting. So look out for these commas as well. So that will show me that some sort of like a linking kind of a word will be there. Especially in the rising generation are interested in social justice, said Ryan, who served as the lead writer on the project. but there isn't a clear understanding of what exactly it means. That's dash because a lot of actions championed in a name of social justice and end up hurting the very people they are trying to help. Now, there isn't a clear understanding of what exactly it means. So basically, people don't know about the meaning. That's dash. So if you don't know the meaning, then what will it be? That's trouble. We don't normally say that. That's horrible. Horrible is a very extreme word. In academic writing, we won't normally use that word. The right answer here will be, it's either problematic or straightforward. If you can't understand clearly, how can it be straightforward? So that won't be right as well. So the right answer here will be problematic, since you can't understand the exact meaning of this. Okay. I will explain Zoom user your question in the end. Okay. Next, many young adults today lack a dash for thinking about social justice and engaging the personal needs of less fortunate. Lack a dash, lack a cover, lack a plan, lack a ground, lack a framework. Look out for the more academic word. Lack a cover, first of all, won't be right. Like, it doesn't make sense. What do you mean by lack a cover? So it's either a plan or framework. Framework means like very carved out plan, or sort of like a structure kind of a thing we use. So if, for example, you are making a outline of something, so you are saying like, okay, that's like a framework, means like a base of something. Okay. For this one, the right answer will be actually framework. Okay. That many young adults today lack a framework for thinking about social justice and engaging the personal needs of less fortunate. Like, they are not too much interested, or they don't have the basis of thinking about social justice and engaging the personal needs. So the right answer will be framework. Okay. You can put plan as well, but again, more academic word will be framework in this one. All right. Now, any questions, any doubts in this one? Now I saw a lot of 4, 5, 5, 4, which is very good to see. Now, Zoom user, you said being can come continuous tense. Yes, being actually is a continuous tense. So if you talk about the tense of that sentence, the second blank, it is present continuous. It is actually a present continuous tense, but in the passive voice. Okay, so it is a continuous tense, present continuous actually, but it is given in the passive voice. So that is why we have to use third form of verb after that. Okay. Why not plan in last? Again, on the basis of the more academic word, here the meaning is the same. Plan is something which we do about certain situation or something. Okay. When you want to talk about the guideline, or when you want to talk about some project or something, we say that's the framework that we use to follow. So framework is sort of like a basic structure of that plan, or of that whatever the activity you are going to do. Okay. For example, since I'm doing some research, in the research, the word framework used a lot. My research relies on that framework. So that's the base, and on that your everything will build up. So framework is like that. So basically you want to say that today young adults don't even care about social justice and don't even care about engaging the personal needs of less fortunate. So they don't have that framework, or they don't have that mindset in that. Okay. So that is why it won't be plan, it will be a framework. Okay. Claire, any questions, any other doubts in this one? A lot of good score. Let me see your results. Good job. Why the others are not telling the score? I think only the people who got 4 or 5, they are sending their scores. The other ones are not. See, 2. Now that's good. Osama, I might not be there because I'll be taking the class. So I might not be in the Parramatta campus tomorrow. I think I'll be there in the morning, but I will be taking class, not in the lab. Sorry about that. But if you can ask me on my number. It should be okay. All right. Good job, everyone. Let's do one more of this one. All right, let's start with this one. Ripan ma'am is actually in Canada. She will be taking classes. I'm not actually sure. I haven't talked to her. Because normally I am in the lab here in the Parramatta campus, and I'm like actually missing the campus as well. But I think she's in Canada and the timing is clashing. So they are working on that. So maybe they will either change the time or something. So they are working, but I think for 1 or 2 weeks, I will be taking for now. Maybe more. I'm not too sure, but yeah, she's in Canada, so that's why she couldn't take it. Well, I think it's 4 a.m. right now there. All right, let's start with this one. I'll give you 2.5 minutes and then we are going to discuss that. Can you see the fifth option now? Okay, all good. All right, let's start with this one. Let me see your answers, what you have done. I see a lot of good answers in this one. Okay, good job. Again, if you look at it, the same rules will be used again and again. Okay, so you should be able to get your answers correct. Yeah. All right, let's start with the first blank. Here he's saying, okay, where is the pen? All right, let's start. He's saying that clean, safe, comma, dash water is more important now than ever. So as we have discussed, again with the commas and all, it has to be something similar to that, right? He's saying clean, dash, dash water. Clean and safe. ING form can't be there, so I can't put trusting water. Okay, so it's either reliable water, convenient water, or comfortable water. Now you can't say there is a comfortable water. Why would it be comfortable? You have comfortable sofas, comfortable bed, but there can't be any like comfortable water, right? It's not giving you any comfort. It's convenient. Do we use that word with water, like convenient water? We, if it was supply, then we can say like convenient water supply or something like that, but we can't say like convenient water. The right answer will be reliable water. Reliable is something which can be used without any stoppage or without any need to worry about whether it will be there or not. So for example, if I say reliable amount of electricity, that means that electricity will be there no matter what. Reliable supply of water is water will be there no matter what. So I don't have to worry about whether it is there tomorrow or after next hour, will it be there or not. Okay, so that is like a reliable. So the right answer here will be reliable, because that's the word that we normally use with water, that clean, safe, and reliable water is more important now than ever. Okay, next one was very simple one. I think all of you got that one right. With the global health emergency still posing dash, still posing what? Clean water is essential for maintaining personal hygiene at home and in the community to help prevent the spread of illness. Okay, still posing what? Dash. You can't pose someone. Someone means to call someone. Opposition, no. So the right answer here will be challenges. Like, although there are many challenges as compared to the like global health emergency, still pose a lot of challenges. Clean water is essential for maintaining personal hygiene at home and in the community to help prevent the spread of illness. So that is the major, you can say, necessity to deal with all these things. Okay. Next one. The report calls for action to improve water infrastructure and dash the economic impact of continued breaks, flooding, shutdowns, and storm damage. Look at that. Again, there is and. So we have to use process of elimination in this one. Look at that. To improve water infrastructure. So something with the first form of verb will be there. If I have to put something here, it has to be with the first form as well. Diminished won't be right. Reducing won't be right. It's either mitigate or lessen. Lessen means to reduce. Mitigate is the more academic word. So I will just put mitigate over here. Okay, so just like to improve and to mitigate. All right, so the right answer will be mitigate. Again, most of you got that one right. Mahima, your answer was wrong. I don't know why. It should have been correct. Okay, rest Doris, you were right. Srijana, you were right as well. Good job. Next one. This is another easy one. Shutdowns and storm damage to businesses that have already been dashed by the pandemic. Again, look at that, by the pandemic. That means that, and also it says have already been. We have seen that whenever you have been or has been, it's either ing or ed. If your sentence is in the active voice, then ing. If it's in the passive voice, then ed form, right? Have already been dashed by the pandemic. That means that it is in the passive voice. What form of verb will be used? We used ed form. All of these four are in ed form, so that's not going to help me a lot. So have already been dashed by the pandemic. So what happened with the pandemic? Influence linked. With linked, we normally use the preposition to. Okay, linked to this. I will not say linked by this, so I will eliminate that. Recognized by the pandemic, impacted by the pandemic. The right answer will be impacted by the pandemic. Okay, we have used this word a lot. Nowadays, even like since COVID-19 has impacted the businesses, blah blah blah. So that is why the right answer will be impacted. Okay. Next one. United States is committed to investing in the water infrastructure is necessary to maintain public health and can help close the gap in funding that is needed to improve the nation's water dash. So something you want to say nation's water supply or something, right? That is where the funding is required. And he's talking about private company owns more than 460 waters and all that. It's not a service, not a base. The right answer will be infrastructure, like overall infrastructure of that region. So to improve the nation's water infrastructure. Okay, clear? It was a very simple one, I think. Okay, so this one should have been correct. So first one was reliable, second one was challenges, third one mitigate, then impacted, and the last one was infrastructure. Okay. Any questions? Any doubts in this one? Yatam, you got 3. What were the 2 mistakes that you did? A lot of you got 4 and 5, which is very good to see. Safi, you got 4. Anyone who got less than 3 in this one? No one. That's good. 2 and 5. Okay. What did you put in the second one? Second one was very simple one. Posing the challenges. Why not convenient? Again, it's not like convenient water. We don't use that adjective with water. Okay. If it was water supply, then I might have put like convenient water supply or convenient water usage or something. But water itself, you can't say it's convenient. It's reliable. Reliable means which is available at all the time, and I don't have to worry about that. Okay. So that is why the right answer here will be reliable. Okay. That's very good to see. Lot of 5 now, which is good. Okay. Keep that up. Maintain the same thing. Okay. Good job. Okay, let's do one more. Sorry. All right, let's do one more. And then we will move on towards our reorder paragraph. Okay. Follow the same thing now. Okay. You got the rhythm now. These are all okay questions. It involves thinking, not that hard, not that easy. It's a medium, but you are doing good. Okay. Keep it up, but just maintain the same thing. All right. This one is little bit tricky, so just be careful. Even if you are like putting the rules over there, think logically. Okay, especially in the third blank should have been correct. Okay, one answer looks very easy, but be careful with that. Okay, let's do this and then we will discuss. All right, let's start with this one. Let me see your answers. In this one, I'm expecting some mistakes. All right, but if you don't do it, then it's absolutely perfect. First one, majority of you got it right, but some of you were still putting D as your first. Why D? All right, let's start with the first one. Okay, let me just put it there. All right, let's start with the first one. He's saying that canal cruises are increasing in popularity as a unique close-up and dash way to experience local culture, right? Why would you put unbelievable? Look at that. A unique close-up and dash way. All right. Um, Again, something about the quality of that canal cruises are there. Okay, so they are unique, they are close up and dash way to experience the local cultures. How will you experience the local cultures? These are all like adjectives, like it's a unique, it's a close up, and it's a dash way of doing it. Okay, and unbelievable way to experience local culture, that won't be making too much of a sense. Like it's not unbelievable way. Okay, for example, when you go on a cruise, you don't say like it's unbelievable way of doing it. Okay, what is it? It's increasing in popularity, like it's getting up, or a lot of people are using it, and it's a relaxing way to experience local culture. So the right answer will be relaxing. Okay, now you might say that why there is ing form over here. Okay, so look at, sometimes that's what I always say, like you can't blindly put it over there. All right, these are all adjectives. All right, so you have to put some adjective over here. If you look at it, the rule will still stand. All right, but in this one you have to look at the context a bit more, that in which sense he is actually talking about. All right, and if you look at it, then you will realize that the right answer here will be relaxing. Okay, next one. Panama Canal cruises offer a chance to see one of the world's most well-known canals, and this year is specially dash. Especially what? Now he want to say that it's the best way to experience all this, and this year is specially dash with the 20th anniversary of the United States transference of the canal to Panamanian ownership on December 31st, 1999. So basically he's saying this year is especially dash. Something he wants to say like it's very special or somewhat like that. Ancient. Ancient means like old. This year is especially ancient, doesn't make sense. Year can't be famous. Like it's this year is especially famous. No. The right answer will be historic. That's the word that we use with years. This year is especially historic. Like people will memorize it for the years to come, because that is the 20th anniversary of the United States transference of the canal to Panamanian ownership on December 31st. Okay. All right. Number 3. Look at the third one. That one was a little bit tricky. Panama Canal cruises are dash in that travelers are able to appreciate the canal's historic and modern dash from the water. Something, if you look at it, it says like something which is very special, not see in this one. Okay, you can't say that Panama cruises are common in that travelers are able to appreciate. If they're talking about something which is very special, he is talking about something. Panama cruises, they are very unique, they offer a very relaxing, and it's a very historic year. How can that be common? That won't be right. If common is not the right answer, then what will you select? Anyone? Not D. The right answer will be A. Very good. That it is distinctive. Distinctive means something which is very special. I knew you would be doubtful between distinctive and common, but look at the text. He's talking about nothing about common. He's talking about unique. He's talking about something special. So that is why it will be distinctive. That Panama Canal cruises are distinctive in that travelers are able to appreciate the canal's historic and modern dash from the water. Modern what? So they're modern. You want to appreciate that, right? Warm features of the water, modern features from the water. So that's what they want to do. Canals, historic and modern features from the water. That's why you want to encounter, or that's what you want to appreciate. Okay, Claire. Next one. I will explain Mahima. Why not ing form over here? Because are is not used as a helping verb over here. Are is a verb. So is, am, are, was, were, whenever it's used as a helping verb, then only I will put ing form. See, there is are over here, but he is not using any ing form here as well. Okay, so it depends in which the sentence is using. Here it's not used as a helping verb over here. Like you are not using any using any verb. You are just talking about an adjective over here that are distinctive in that, like it's their quality. Clear? Why would you appreciate modern reviews from the water? Why would you put reviews over here? Look at the sense. When you go on a cruise, do you review from the water? That won't be right. Okay, so modern features from the water of that canal in which you are floating. All right, so that is why it won't be reviews. All right, tell me your thinking, Rajni. Why would you put reviews over here in the fourth one? Because that, I don't know why did you do that. Just send it to me in the chat. Why would you put reviews in the fourth one? Okay. All right, number 5th, the Panama Canal has remained a major transit route dash the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean. I told you that whenever we talk about two things, it will be between. Okay, so look at that. Through, via, among. No, the right answer will be between. So that route is operating between Atlantic and Pacific. Via and through is something which is going along the way. All right. So that won't be the case over here. That's the route between these two places. Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean, and then in between there is a Panama Canal. Okay, and newer locks were added as parts of an expansion project that doubled the capacity of the Panama Canal to dash the passage of modern container ship and other large ships. Double the capacity to dash the passage of modern container ships and other large ships. So basically, there is a new expansion project to dash. To provide the passage between of that doesn't make sense. If it was provide the passage of, that won't be making sense. So the right answer to, if he's using assist, with assist we normally use the preposition with, to assist with something. Okay, which is not the case over here. So the right answer will be to accommodate the passage of modern container ships and other large ships. Okay, so to accommodate these bigger ships, they have now started with the expansion plan for these for that Panama Canal. Okay, clear? Any question? Lot of 4 and 6. Very good, Ajay. Excellent job. Newton, you are doing really good today. Diksha, good. Vam, try to improve that. Nirmal, good. Majority of you are actually getting these right today, which is good to see, especially like after the first one. You need a little bit of a warm-up kind of a thing. Okay, after that, you guys are good. I don't know why. I won't be there in the real exam. Okay, so just remember that you need to do it by yourself. So make sure that before going, you're already in that zone of doing that reading. All right, and then it will be much easier for you to do it. In the last one, he is talking about after two, there has to be the first form of verb. All of these are in first form. So to dash the passage of modern container ships and other large ships. So if he's using assist, he must have used some other preposition like with, provide with, we also used. So there is no preposition to dash the passage of modern container ships and large ships. So that is why the right answer will be accommodate. So to fit the large ships and modern bigger ships, that is where they have to double the capacity of the Panama Canal. Okay, so that is why it will be accommodate. All right. Okay, explain the third one. Yeah, let me raise all of that so it will be more clear. Okay, and third one, he's saying Panama Canal cruises are dash in that travelers are able to appreciate the canal's historic and modern. So basically he wants to talk about the important feature of it or something which is very distinct or something which is very special in that, because it's talking about unique experience and he's talking about that it's a historic year and stuff. Okay, so R dash, so the right answer will be R. Distinctive means something which is very special. Okay, clear? So that is why it will be distinctive. Fifth one also fits perfectly, right? Among. Among, it does, but I told you whenever he's talking about two things, just use between. Okay, if it is more than two things, then you can use amongs. All right. Sorry, among, not amongs. So here he's talking about only Atlantic and Pacific. So that is why it has to be between. If he's talking about dash the oceans, like there are different oceans which are involved, then I will use among the oceans. You get it? So that is why it won't be among. Okay. Clear, guys? Any questions, any doubts in this one? I'm taking it as a yes. All right, let's start with some reorder paragraph. Today we'll do more reorders, and in tomorrow's class, we will do more of fill in the blanks, drag and drop. Okay. All right, let's start with this one. Let's start. I'll give you 2.5 minutes and then we will do that. All right, let's start with this one. Ooh. Some of you got it right, but there were some mistake. Chetan, you got it right. Good job. Mohit, you were right as well. Chandni, one mistake. Most of you did BCDA. But the right answer is actually BCAD. Okay, let's discuss that. All right. Okay, let's start with this one. He's saying that 62 days earlier on November 13th, 2015, he would set out from the coast of Antarctica, hoping to achieve what his hero, Ernest Shackleton, had failed to do a century earlier, to track the foot from one side of the continent to the other. Who is he? I don't know, so it can't be my first one. The man, whose name was 𝗍𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗃, consulted a GPS device to determine precisely where he was. Very simple, very generic, could be my first one, but I'm not sure about the other one. According to his coordinates. What do you mean by his? I don't know, so that can't be my first one as well. The journey, which would pass through the South Pole, was more than 1,000 miles and would traverse what is arguably the most brutal environment in the world. Okay, it can't be my first one as well. Like, what journey is he talking about? What South Pole? I'm not too sure about that. So that is why for this one, the right answer will be option B. I will raise all of that, which says that the man whose name was Henry Worsley, consulted a GPS device to determine precisely where he was. Okay. Up till now, I know a person named Henry Worsley, and he consulted a GPS device. If you look at this option, according to his coordinates, who is his? Remember, there are two people who are mentioned. In this one, he's talking about his hero, Ernest Shackleton, his coordinates. He was on the Titan Dome, an ice formation on the South Pole that rises more than 10,000 feet above sea level. Look at that. He has consulted a GPS company. So when he consulted that, he will get some coordinates or he will know where he was, right? That is the ending part of your first sentence. Remember, always try to match the ending part and try to match it with the starting. Okay. After this, the right answer will be option C. B and C will go together because he's talking about where he was, and now he will say, according to his coordinates, he was on the Titan Dome. Okay, so that is where he was, on the Titan Dome, an ice formation in the South Pole that rises more than 10,000 feet above sea level. So that was above 10,000 feet above the sea level. Okay, clear? So these two are the very easy pair. Now, the journey which would pass through the South Pole, did he mention anything about any journey in this third sentence? No, he hasn't. Okay. The right answer will be option A after that. 62 days earlier. Earlier what? Earlier to getting that on ice formation thingy. On November 13, 2015, he would set out from the coast of Antarctica. Now he is telling you about the journey. He wanted to set out from the coast, hoping to achieve what his hero had failed to do a century earlier. So even 1 century ago, there was a guy named Ernest Shackleton. He tried to do it, to trek on the foot from one side of the continent to the other, but he couldn't do it. Okay. That is the journey which he is talking about. So the right answer will be D after that, that the journey which would pass through the South Pole was more than 1,000 miles and all that. Okay. So first he will consult a device to know where he actually was. It was 10,000 feet above the sea level in that Titan Dome. But what he wanted to go, he wanted to achieve what his hero couldn't achieve, which is to set foot from one continent to another. And the last one will be the journey which would pass through the South Pole. Okay. So the right answer will be B, C, A, and D. All right. Any questions, any doubts in this one? I think some of you got it right, but mostly there was one pair which was right. Okay, which is good to see. All right, let me do one more. All right, let's do this one. There are only 441. I wanted to do the 5-1, but that's fine. Let's do this one, and then we are going to discuss that. Okay. All right, let's start with this one. Most of you got the answer right for this, which is very good. Sidesh, your answer was right. Newton, you are right as well. Yatam, Karika, good job. Most of you, Nirmal also, good job. All right, let's start with this one. All right, so all of you got the standalone sentence correct in this one. So the standalone was, if you look at it, the rivers feed into the Bering Sea and Gulf of Alaska Gold, nutrient-rich water which support tens of millions of seabirds and over 4,400 species of shell SH. What is SH? Some sort of like a typo error kind of a thing. Taking advantage of this rich bounty. What do you mean by this rich bounty? I don't know. First one will be option C. The 49th state to join the United States of America in 1959. Alaska is fully one-fifth the size of the mainland, 48 states combined. So basically, 49th state, which is Alaska, is fully one-fifth the size of mainland, 48 states combined. So if you combine all these states, it's almost the size of that. Okay. Then it shares with Canada. What is it? That Alaska state he's talking about, right? The second longest river system in the North America and has over half the coastline of the United States. So the right answer will be option D after that. Now he is talking about a river. So very simple. The rivers feed. Okay, look at the ending part. Now he's talking about the longest river system. So now he will tell you about that river, that it feeds into the Bering Sea and this nutrient-rich water which supports tens of millions of seabirds and over 400 species of shell, crustaceans, and mollusks. All right. And then the last one will be taking advantage of this rich bounty. Commercial sherries have developed into a world of the largest. So maybe instead of sherries, you want to say like their ship system or something like that. Okay. So the right answer will be C, D, A, and B. The best thing about your reorder paragraph is try to match the ending and starting part together. All right. If you do that, it will be much easier for you to do it. Okay. Look at the ending, try to match it with the starting. If you do like this, then it would be the best way for you to find your reorder paragraphs correct. Okay. All right. Any questions? Any doubts in this one? All right. Tell me one thing. Do you guys want to do fill in the blanks now more, or do you want to do one or two more reorder paragraph and then we finish it off, and tomorrow we do the blanks around 5 to 6? What do you guys think? Blanks. We'll do blanks. Okay. More votes for the blanks. All right, let's start with the fill in the blanks. Okay, so we will try to do as many as we can. I know no one likes reorder paragraph anyway, so even I don't like reorders that much, but still we have to do it because for 8 each you have to get those right. Let's do this one. So it's small passage, but it has like around 5 blanks. So let's do this. Then we are going to discuss that. Okay. So I'll give you 2.5 minutes. Just refresh your mind. If you want to get some water or something, get that. But I want the right answer in the blanks as well, just like you guys did in the previous ones. Okay. So let's just follow the same momentum into this. All right, let's start. I got few answers. I think some of you are still solving. It's a little bit tricky. 𝗙𝗏𝗀𝗃, you got the answer very quickly. Have you done that one before, or did you do it on the spot? It was very quick. Like even I couldn't solve in that time, but you did it very, very quickly. So if you haven't done that one before on the spot, that's very good. And actually your answer was right. Okay, good job. That means your mind is working very, like in a very sharp way. Okay, good to see that. Okay, good job. All right, let's do this. The dash results of many conventional road transport projects in Africa led some experts to rethink the dash by which rural transport problems were to be dash at the beginning of 1980s. The dash results. So something about the results he is talking about, that you need to rethink the dash by which rural transport. So they need to do some rethinking as well. Upcoming results. If you already, like if the results are not there, how can they rethink something? So basically what he want to say that he got some results which lead the researchers or which leads the expert to think about the stuff again, right? What will the results be if you want to rethink everything? You can't say approach, you can't say upcoming. Okay, availability, presented, tackled won't be right. So the right answer here will be disappointing. That the disappointing results of many conventional road transport projects in Africa led some experts to rethink the dash by which rural transport problems were to be dash. To rethink the dash by which, approach by which, or strategy by which. You, when you're solving a certain problem, you put a strategy for that. Okay, so the right answer here will be strategy. Okay, I was very doubtful between approach and strategy as well when I was solving, but approach was making more sense in the other blank. So I just go with the approach in that one, and then I have to come up with the strategy for the second one. Okay, problems were to be dash at the beginning of 1980s. Were to be dash. That means that your sentence after to be, either it will be ing form or ed form, depending on the sentence, whether it's an active or passive. What kind of sentence is there? Is it active voice or is it given in the passive voice? Which rural transport problems were to be dash at the beginning of the 1980s? Let's say he's talking about solving the problems. Who is solving it? I don't know that. So that means that your sentence is in the passive voice. You're right, Anita and Rajni, it will be in passive voice. So with that, I have to use ed form of verb. It's either tackled or presented. Always use process of elimination in these blanks. Okay, trust me, that will help you a lot. He's talking about the problem. So I can't like present the problem. So the right answer will be tackled. So I will say tackled the problem. Okay, at the beginning of 1980s. A request for help in improving the dash of transport within the remote district of southern West Tanzania. Now, what will be the answer? A request for improving the dash of transport. Upcoming of, approach of transport doesn't make any sense as well. Presented of won't be right. The only available option is availability. So I will put availability over here, which is the adjective which we are looking for. That availability of transport within the remote Mekete district of southern western Tanzania. Dash opportunity to try a new dash. Look at the options which we are left with. Okay, so let me just eliminate that. So the first one was disappointing. I will put first over here. Second one was strategy. Third one was tackled. Fourth one was availability. So now we are left with only three options. Dash the opportunity. So what do we use with the opportunity? Upcoming opportunity? No. Within the remote community, district of Western Tanzania, dash opportunity. Presented an opportunity to try a new approach. So the right answer will be approach over here. Okay. This particular blank is a perfect example of how you are going to use elimination process. Okay. And I will highly encourage you guys to do that. You should eliminate all the options. You should be left with 2 or 3. Out of these 2 or 3, which is making more sense, you will just select that. Okay. Majority of you got that one right, which is very good to see. Srijana, your answer was right as well. The disappointing results, second one will be strategy by which rural transport problems were solved. Third one will be were tackled, because it's in the passive voice, so you will use ed form of verb. Presented the beginning doesn't make sense, so I will put tackled. Okay. Then the fourth one will be availability, since there is no other option available. Presented an opportunity to try a new approach. Okay. Clear? Any questions? Good job, Kajal, Nirmal, Diksha, Kritika, even Zoom user. What's your name actually? It always says Zoom user, so I'm not sure. All right, Srijana, good job. Into by with third form of verb. Which one? I didn't say with by you will always put third form. You have to look at it. Look at the sentence to do that. Okay, so there is no such rule. If you say like by, you will put third form of verb. Okay, just be careful of that. All right, let's do, okay, Mahisha. Okay, good. All right, let's do one more. We still have time. We started a bit late. Let's do one more. But tomorrow I will make sure we will focus more on both of these blanks. So we are going to do, okay, just be prepared tomorrow. We will do around 5 to 6 of these ones only. All right, because I feel like we give less time to these. So we are going to do more of these tomorrow. All right, so let's do this. Let's finish it on the high, and then we are going to discuss that. Okay. Majority of you have already left. There are only 33 left. There were like 41 students here. I know everyone gets tired, but that's fine. Okay, let's do this one. Then we will move on. All right, I saw only 3 answers for now. I know it's a bit tricky. Let's see what you do. Okay, so just use your thinking. There are mistakes as well. Let's see. I'll give you a little bit more time. All right, so if you need time, do that, but make sure that your answers are correct. I got only 4 answers. I think most of you, it might take a little bit more time. All right, let's begin. There are mistakes in this one. Siddesh, you got the first one right. Ajay, your first blank was right as well. But again, let's start. But if industrial agriculture is to be replaced, what is a dash alternative? So dash alternative. So some adjective will be there, right? Which is defining about alternative. Comprise, shifting, sustainable alternative could be there. But this word, I was doubtful between viable or sustainable, but sustainable was used in some other blank properly. So I will just put viable over here. Viable is something which we use with the words like, we use with the words like solution or alternative or something like that. For example, what is the viable solution? What is a viable alternative for this? Like, what is the appropriate solution or what is the best possible solution? So that's the meaning of that. Okay. So the right answer will be viable in the first one. Okay. Professor Pretty feels that organic farming would be too big a dash in thinking and in practices. Too big a dash, like it will be a lot of thinking to do. So too big a step in thinking, some word like that will be there. Too big a comprise, a shifting in thinking won't be right. A consists, I can't put that. The right answer here will be a jump in your thinking. Okay, so the second one will be jump. This is again solely a context base. Most of you put like Chetan, you got it right. To produce too big a produce in thinking. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, why would there be a produce in thinking? If it was production in thinking, then I might have put that. Okay, but just because of that, a jump in thinking and in practices for many farmers. All right. Furthermore, the price premium would put the dash out of reach of many poorer consumers. So he's talking about the consumer now. What do we put out of reach of the consumer? Some product, right? Look at the option. Comprise, shifting, consist, produce, immediate, covering. It's not a product. The right answer will be goods. Like it can get the goods out of the hands of the poor consumers. Okay, so if consumers can't get out of reach, so goods out of reach. So if you put a price premium on the farmers or their practices, it will put a goods out of reach of many poorer consumers. Okay. He is recommending the dash introduction of greener food standard. The dash introduction. So some steps now we are going to take, right? Again, consist, comprise, shifting introduction. No, the right answer will be immediate introduction about of the farming. Okay, so the right answer will be in immediate. This one is most of the blanks, first 5 blanks, they were like totally context based. Okay, so I have nothing to add with the grammar sense in this one. It's just like a adjective and the noun. Okay, so introduction of this. So you need some adjective behind that. So immediate introduction, like you want to introduce these concepts or you want to do these policies as soon as you can. Okay. which would push the market towards more dash environmental practices. Here, the right answer will be sustainable. Whenever you talk about sustainable, like environmental friendly things or environmental practices, we use the word sustainable with those, right? Sustainable environmental practices means whatever you are going to do, it should take care of the sustainability, like green, and he's talking about like greener food standards. So that is why it will be sustainable as compared to the current norm. So what is happening today? We are going to go for the more sustainable outcomes or more sustainable practices. Okay. While not requiring the full commitment to organic production, with while, as I told you, ing form, and there is ing form over here. Such a standard would dash agreed practices. Now look at the options. I will just put a cross around those which we have already put. I told you guys before that whenever you have would, we will always put first form of verb. Okay, there is would. After would, we can't put any ing form, any ses form. Look at that. Consists is there, I can't put that. Shifting is there, I can't put that. Covering is there, I can't put that. It's either produce or it's comprise. Okay. Such a standard would dash agreed practices for different kinds of farmings. Will it produce or will it comprise? It consists of, right? He wants to say that if you want to follow that, if you want to follow that norm, or if you want to follow that standard, it comprise agreed practices for different kinds of farming. So the right answer here will be comprise. Okay, because that's the only option which I'm left with. Comprise for different practices for different kinds of farming, dash agrochemical use, this and that, like including all these things. So the right answer will be covering. So covering agrochemical use, soil health, land management, and this one. Okay, so the sixth one will be 1 2 3 4 5. Yeah, sixth one was comprised, so I have put sixth over here. It's a very long one. All right, so sixth one will be comprise agreed practices. Seventh will be covering. Okay, now that's the only option which I'm left with. It's either shifting or it's produce. It could go a long way, he says, to dash consumers as well as farmers towards a sustainable agriculture. So you can't produce consumers, right? So you want to shift consumers' mindset from the normal way of doing it towards the more sustainable way of agriculture. So the right answer here will be shifting. Okay, as I told you before, sometimes we will put to first form of verb or ing form of verb. So here we will put ing form of verb when we are taking it as an infinitive. So to shifting consumers. Not solve the sixth blank, messed it up in the last three. That exactly will happen. If you miss one of these blanks, it will mess up their whole thing, because whatever option should be there in the seventh one, now you will put it in the sixth one and all that. Okay, so it will be a little bit confusing. All right. Let me explain that again. I think it was a bit difficult, but its first few blanks I think was fine. What is a dash alternative? So what is a viable alternative, which is a collocation that we use, meaning alternate all first five are okay. Exactly. What is a dash alternative? So viable alternative. Too big a dash in thinking and in practices, too big a jump. Okay, so you will put jump over here. Would put the dash out of reach of many consumers, since it's talking about the consumer. So I will put to put these goods out of reach. Okay, then he is recommending the dash introduction of greener food. Immediate introduction, because we want to do it very quickly. So I will put immediate introduction. Sustainable practices, environmental practices, which is again like a collocation. Remember, whenever there is an option sustainable here, if he's talking about anything about the environment and stuff, just put sustainable. I was doubtful in putting sustainable in the first blank, but when I saw the fifth one, I was like, okay, this one has to make sense over here. And then I have to look for some other options in option one. All right. Then such a standard would dash agreed practices, would first form of verb. So that is why I will put comprise over here. And then covering, because these are all the practices which he is talking about, which will come under the sustainable environmental practices, which will include. So the right answer will be covering. And the last one will be, he's talking about shifting the mindset from normal farming towards a sustainable system. So that is where I will put shifting over here. Okay, clear? Any question? Or the whole thing is doubtful now? Any doubt? 5 out of 8, that's fine. This one was a little bit tricky, but in the exam, you won't get normally that big of sentences. So it will be normally an easy one. Okay. Now, any questions or any doubts if you guys have from today's class? Let me just stop the recording. All right. Any questions or anything you want to discuss? Trickier this one in real exam. I hope not, but you might get, it's very rare. 8 blanks is very rare. I don't think you will get that long. Okay, just for the practice kind of a sake. All right, be prepared for tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll do more fill in the blanks, drag and drop questions and more of these. Hopefully you have learned something today. Keep on practicing. Watch exam. No need to do that, but if you want to watch the video, just watch the videos that you have seen. Yeah, the grammar videos on Facebook or on YouTube. Learned a lot. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll work on that, Anita. Yeah, Dipti, just keep on practicing because that's the only way to do it. It's all about practice because there is no rule in your blanks. Okay, this will only get better when you do some practice. Okay, so make sure that you do that. All right, thank you so much, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully, have a good night and good luck. Thank you.